Hello, it is Tuesday, August 10th, 2021. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to my New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Tuesday puzzle, maybe a tad harder, just a little touch more difficult than yesterday's Monday, but still should be an approachable way to get us into the week. I don't think there are any big corrections from yesterday, which isn't a surprise because it was a Monday. So why don't we just get right into the Tuesday puzzle by Anne Gray Martin, edited as always by Will Shorts. I've got my color-changing London tube map mug here, which will, as the coffee cools and the level recedes, will shift into the night tube service, so let's see how much of this puzzle we can get done before that happens. Ready to get started? Okay. SCOTUS Justice, who said, "Women belong in all places where decisions are being made." So we see that SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States, is abbreviated, which means that the answer to will be abbreviated. RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And actually, I inadvertently flipped the orientation of the selection and happened to see this other clue, Florida Senator Marcos. So two American political or arguably governmental, if you don't consider a Supreme Court justice to be a politician, Marco Rubio is who this is. One-time presidential candidate. Anyway, let's go back to the acrosses here. June celebrant, informally. Oh boy. Is June Father's Day? Is it May that's Mother's Day and June that's Father's Day in the US? You know, I'm actually not sure. Let's just keep going for now. Blank in Boots, fairy tale. Puss in Boots is the fairy tale. Address that can't receive packages. Well, what kind of address is there that isn't a postal address? It might be an internet address or a URL. A valedictorian's grade, maybe. Well, valedictorian has done very, very well in school, so perhaps they received an A+. Hopefully we receive an A+ solving this crossword. An extra life in video gaming. That's often referred to as a 1-up. I think the original Super Mario game established that convention. Educated, but not streetwise. Well, the counterpart of streetwise, I think, would be book smart. Order from on high. It could be an edict, something, a sort of a rule that's set down. And here we see the Telltale Heart writer. That is by Edgar Allan Poe. Poe comes up not infrequently in crosswords, not surprisingly, because he's got one of those short, useful names that can be slotted into a grid. Like a good score in golf. Well, a good score would be under par. In other words, fewer than the specified number of strokes. So in order from on high, this probably is an edict. Let's go ahead and put that in there. K-12 fundraising groups. This has got to be the half-dozenth or so time this has appeared in a crossword recently. It's a parent-teacher association, the PTA. Plural in this case. Let's go back, keep following the acrosses in order. Where work might pile up. Well, work might pile up literally in your inbox, physically on your desk, or metaphorically in your email inbox. And a Beano competitor, I think this is Gas X, to help with gas, I suppose. A measure of engine speed. Well, the speed of your engine, as opposed to the speed your car is traveling, is revolutions per minute. Chicken blank king, chicken a la king. When repeated, hungry like the wolf band. I always enjoy when repeated clues because it's sort of clever to have to come up with things that need to be repeated. Anyway, Duran Duran. And then, a June celebrant informally is a graduate from university or some other school. Excuse me. Duran Duran. Okay. Let's go back to our crosses. Batteries for some remotes. Some remotes may take a AAA battery, and this is plural, so it needs to be AAAs. Singer-songwriter, English singer-songwriter, George blank. I'm not sure. Suddenly taking up an idea. Well, it could be seizing on an idea. I'm seizing on the notion that this might be George Ezra. Judicial capital of Bolivia. Yeah, so this would be, so there's the, I suppose, political capital of Bolivia, La Paz, and then the judicial capital of Bolivia. So this is not getting at money, it's getting at a city, which is Sucre. I think it's E. Let's keep looking though. Eggs in diner slang. I'm not sure what eggs are in diner slang. We may have to get this with crosses, but it'll probably be obvious once we have the crosses. Cart pullers. Well, oxen might pull a cart. And let's look at these crosses. Where Jennifer Lopez, Cardi B, and Kerry Washington grew up. Bronx. They grew up in the Bronx in New York City. All right. And then part of an Atlas statue is a globe. That makes sense. Atlas is the one who held up the globe. And a coffee growing locale of Hawaii would be Kona. You see that on coffee sometimes. Okay, let's keep looking at these crosses, see if we can get any help with this diner clue. A wild guess would be a stab. I would have to take a stab at this eggs clue. Sunberries? Could it possibly be sunberries? I mean, you could see how that might... That's probably wrong. Dry as wine, that would be sec. Triple sec is an orange liqueur, I want to say. Cap'n Crunch is what this is looking for here. Boy, maybe this is sunberries or some other berries. Character with a boombox in Do the Right Thing. So this is the excellent Spike Lee film. And this is the character in question is Radio Raheem, or, Raheem. Superfruit from South America. It's our old friend acai, a berry, which is a nice echo of berries over here. U blank. So my first thought was U-turn, but with that A, it can't be U-turn. So presumably it is the brand of the sort of self-relocation trucks, U-Haul. So it's not sunberries. What is this? Hunberries? What is this? 2 cubed. Oh, I see. So 2 to the power of 3 in mathematics. 2 cubed would be 8. Oh, henberries, of course. I'm sorry, that was very silly. They're laid by a hen. They're sort of, in a poetic sense, you could call them henberries. Sorry for missing that. All right, a network with a Times Square studio. A Times Square studio. Is it NBC? Is that Times Square? Duh, let's keep going. Annual Science Fiction Awards. Apologies. The Hugo Awards, I believe that is. Horrible Comics Viking. I remember this from when I grew up. It is Hagar the Horrible. Kids Educational TV Series of the 1970s to 1990s. I am not sure offhand. It's a very long answer. Let's just come back to it. Reproduces in a way. Could be a number of things. Mimes, for instance, but let's just keep going for now. Afternoon hour. Well, 3 in the afternoon. It's an hour in the afternoon. Red pill chooser in The Matrix. Neo, the protagonist of The Matrix. Early movie studio for Katharine Hepburn. Wouldn't have known to associate this with Katharine Hepburn in particular, but RKO was an early movie studio. A Perfect Serve is an ace. And kids' educational TV series of the 1970s to 1990s. We now see that this ends with rock, so I recognize it as Schoolhouse Rock. Close tightly. To seal something would be to close it tightly. A tête-à-tête is a one-on-one. So in French, this would be head-to-head. A sudden rise would be a surge. Hopefully we have a surge of answers to fill out this crossword. Reproduces in a way, right, I'm not sure about that, but it probably ends with an S. So let's look over here. Blank one, special person. So the chosen one, the special person might be a chosen one, like Neo in The Matrix. The home of Marlin and Nemo in Finding Nemo. I assume they lived on or in a reef. Sounds right. Scrabble or cribbage, these are both games, and since it's an or, we want the singular, so a game. What turns on a farm vehicle? A wagon wheel, presumably. If we exited, we left. In a more difficult day, I would maybe wait on an answer like this because I'd be wondering if something more clever or simply less obvious was happening, but I'm going to go ahead and put that in now, and we can fix it if we have to. A bakery fixture. Well, I would say the primary fixture in a bacon would be the oven, wouldn't it, in a bakery? Actor Patel, Dev Patel, who is currently in the film The Green Knight, which I am desperate to see, but has been pulled from theatrical release in the UK, which is incredibly frustrating for me personally. Send on as an email, yes, that's forward. An FAQ page, e.g., that's a help, I suppose. Satan's doings are evils. A Japanese car named for a river. I don't know. I'm not sure which Japanese car is named for a river. So let's look here. I mean, could it be a Suzu? So anything else that would fit with that S. Alternative to pounds. Nintendo series with high-speed racers. Oh, I guess it is Isuzu. I thought Isuzu would be unlikely because there would have to be a Z or Z after this F, but now I see this is F0, and so this is Isuzu. So alternative to pounds, in other words, alternative to the British pound currency would be euros, the European Union, or Eurozone more accurately, currency. Sassy behaviors in slang. Well, this would be tudes. Don't have any tude. Not how one would use that word. I apologize for that embarrassing deployment of that piece of slang. Send assistance, SOS. Blank Ida, maker of tater tots, or Ida, maker of tater tots, sure. Oh, here we go. We've got a theme. We have a theme. Phrase that can precede the starts of 17, 25, 40, and 50 across. So the starts, presumably this means the first word in these phrases or compound words, book, hen, school, or wagon. Wow, this is great. So here we have an echo of an answer from yesterday. Yesterday, if you recall, there was a clue that was answered with the phrase, not I, and it referred to the children's story character, the little red hen. That's great. What a nice little bit of recurrence. Well done, Anna Gray Martin and Will Shorts. So we see we can have Little Red Book, the Maoist document. You could have Little Red Hen herself from the story yesterday. Oh, is that right? Little Red School, Little Red Wagon. Did I get overly excited? What do those things mean? Little Red Schoolhouse, Little Red, Little Red Wagon. Those seem plausible. They're not as immediately familiar as Little Red Book or Little Red Hen. So I'm sorry if you see or more definitively don't see the way that this works, but I'm not quite grabbing those off the top of my head. Little Red Wagon. I mean, Little Red Wagon sounds like a Red Wagon, Rider Wagon sort of thing. Little Red school or schoolhouse. I'm not sure. A black one is fancy. Black tie, this might be getting at. Explosive stuff might be TNT. Some volleyball actions would be sets. If you set the ball for someone else to spike, I would assume. And kinds would be ilks, which would make a high piano tone a plink. So Little Red certainly is correct, and I just had a bit of doubt there because I didn't recognize in particular Little Red School or Little Red Schoolhouse. So sorry about that. But I do really like this Little Red Hen recurrence. That's really great, including actually getting Little Red Hen directly into the puzzle. So, a Dummkopf. A Dummkopf would be an ass. A word that, Dummkopf isn't a phrase that I would think much use in modern slang, but that's what that's getting at. We can see the underground is about 20% converted to the night tube. Secretly loop in by email would be BCC, blind carbon copy is what that stands for if you didn't know. So network with the Times Square studio. Right, okay, so it wasn't NBC, it's ABC. I wouldn't have known that, but fair enough. All excited. Charged up, I suppose this is. And reproduces in a way, I see, so scans. That makes sense because it's sort of in a way you're reproducing it. You're scanning it, which isn't, it's a form of reproduction, sort of, but indirectly. So to be all excited is to be charged up, I suppose. If something amazes you, it wows you. I was wowed by this Little Red Hen business. Some sneakers, this has come up in the crossword a few times in recent weeks, avias, I think that is. And cheese coating, it's probably wax. Let's look at the crosses here. Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson role, seems right. Where don't sweat it is hard to follow advice, a sauna, very clever. And glasses, informally, are specs. And we can put the X in there for the informal rather than simply abbreviated to complete the puzzle. So there it is. We've got our Tuesday puzzle down. And it was another, much like yesterday, I would say. This was very similar to yesterday in the sense that it was a relatively gentle puzzle with a nice theme, a really nicely constructed theme. I wish I identified the Little Red School or Schoolhouse. Definitely missed something there, but that's okay. This RBG and Rubio might be a tough cross. It's always difficult when you have two proper nouns that can only be resolved by knowing or inferring one of them alone, basically, is what I'm saying. You might be able to, I mean, RBG is probably pretty, probably to some degree penetrated into the worldwide consciousness, although, you know, I'm not sure to what extent outside of the US, but probably more than Marco Rubio, I would assume. But if you had these other crosses, you might be able to guess at R for Rubio. And then I didn't know George Ezra, actually. So this would be another one that might be tough with, again, Ezra and Sucra, two proper nouns. But once again, if you had the rest of the crosses, Ezra is a name. So might be able to get that, I would suspect. Henberries was fun. I don't think I was familiar with that phrase. So that was a fun one, I thought. Sort of seeing that come together with my very, very silly Sunberries guess, which in retrospect was absurd. Acai, classic crosswordese bit. I mean, it's a legitimate word, but I think probably it is very popular, so a lot of people would know it on its own. I mainly know it from crosswords. A few more American cultural clues, but comes to the territory in the New York Times crossword. Anyway, yeah, a nice little puzzle that didn't throw up too much resistance. I'd be curious to know how you fared. I enjoyed it. This puzzle by Anne Gray Martin. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you have been enjoying this series, why not subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can see each of these videos as they go up each morning to help you improve your crossword game. And if you would like to help someone else improve their crossword solving skills, why not pass this along? Why not tell them about this series? Because maybe they'd like it too. Maybe they would like to improve it solving the crosswords, or maybe they would simply like to fall asleep. There was a comment, I think, from somebody yesterday who said they've been enjoying these videos as a way to fall asleep, which I will choose to take as a compliment, or at least more of a compliment than not, because at least it's serving a useful function. So maybe someone else you know needs to fall asleep, and maybe this is the best way for them to do it. You never know. And finally, if this series has particularly been helping you with your sleep schedule, then why not consider tossing me a couple of quid or a few bucks over at my Ko-fi page, where you can make a small donation of your choosing on a one-off or monthly recurring basis to help make this show sustainable as part of my workload each day. I really very, very much appreciate everyone who has done so to this point. It means quite a lot to me. Genuinely, it really does. So thank you so much to everyone who's contributed. And of course, I'm aware not everyone is in a position to do so. If you are, the link is under the video in the description. And with that, I will be off. I will leave you to have hopefully an excellent remainder of your Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow for the Wednesday puzzle, the mid-work week puzzle, where maybe the challenge starts to ramp up just a little bit more. And I hope you join me then. Until tomorrow, take care.